bless this. Hello, 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 everybody. Yay. We are back for episode
30.
30.
30. Yes. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I'm super excited to be here. We are super excited to be here. And my name is Renette, aka the Next Level Chick. As you all can see, we are missing our spicy season sister, the CEO partner, Toya. But she is here in spirit. We love her, and she'll be back next week.
Yes.
Okay.
I am simply Tammy, your spicy coach.
I am the Coach Gail Benson, your certified master life coach.
Nah.
Yes. We love Thursday night spice night. And as you all come on, we would love for you all to bring your friends with you, invite, share, follow, all of those things. If y'all did not know, now you're going to know. We are on Apple, we are on Spotify, we are on iHeartRadio. We're on all the platforms and social media as well. And we're doing all the things. Soon to be on TikTok. We're not quite there yet, but we're gonna be there too. So y'all help us out and share. I want y'all to find at least 5 to 10 women that y'all can share. Put them in the comments, tag them, whatever, however you watching. Find a way to let people know, because y'all know what? At 40 plus, women do have a lot of stress. They deal with a lot of mess. And it's not like we are, looking for this, because I thought life would be so much different. But it's different than I thought. But that's okay.
Yes.
Because we're here to talk about that stress and those things that cause the mess. And we're going to help find some solutions for the problem. Baby, it's always a solution. And Spicy got the
always.
So y'all join us.
Take a bat to it.
Okay. That part. And so y'all join us tonight in this spicy episode as we talk about part 2, let go of the mess that is causing you the stress. And so today we want to say dig deeper, stress less, clearing the roots of your chaos. And so with that being said, we're going to go beyond the surface and dig into the roots. Okay. Sometimes you got to get to the root.
Yes.
The root.
Because the problem, it may be at the top, it may be the tree, it may be, whatever, it may be the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
But when you really want to solve the problem, you got to get to the root, not root. The problem. That's the old thing.
Them roots.
As we go beyond the surface and dig into the roots, because sis, we are decluttering your space, our space, and this is just the beginning. True peace comes when you confront patterns, people-pleasing, internal battles that keep you from inviting stress back in. See, a lot of times you don't know what happened and you say, oh, the weapon formed against me shall not be prospering, but you may be the weapon formed against yourself. Help you get yourself together. We're getting ourselves together so we can stop stress and mess this messing with our lives. Okay.
Yes.
So this episode, we are all about deep emotional excavation. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll talk about how unhealed wounds, guilt, overthinking, and comparison, contrasting, and competing keeps the culture seasoned in chaos. Women in a cycle of burnout, women in a cycle of chaos, you can't move forward. So let's get ready. These are journal-worthy reflections. So pull your journal out, pull your pencil and paper out, baby.
Right.
So that you can write this stuff down and answer questions. And we're going to have some real talk and practical tools. Finally, to help you to get rid of the stress that's causing the mess so that you can live and walk in that spicy season. Y'all know how I said, let's buckle up and ride. Let's go. All right. Let's talk about this thing. And it's very, very important. So with that being said,
yes.
What past experiences or wounds are you quietly fueling are quietly fueling your current stress? Let me read that again. What past experiences or wounds are still quietly fueling your current stress? And I want to say this to the audience, and I love this about Spicy Season Sisters. They trust me. I guess they trust me enough because they don't know questions that's coming, but they are fully willing to answer. And some of it is very, is bringing out the vulnerability. It is, it really calls them to think deep and go deep. And that's what we want to do. We want to be real on here. We don't want to bring the fake or whatever. And so as we ask these questions, as it's saying, chime in. What past experiences or wounds are still quietly fueling your current stress?
That can be so many things that rest inside of us that we may not even know about. I think as all of us as humans, especially as women, we have a lot of ingrained things that come from things we saw, maybe our childhood, old relationships and experiences. And I know for me, I compound so many things from my past, and I apply, and it's not always in the right light. I tiptoe around in and around the tulips because of past experiences, and most of the time I have to admit that I live in a fictional place because I'm always positioning myself for what if. But the what if I'm worried about should be why not, instead of what if. I should be, why not? Why wouldn't I do this? Why won't I let that go? So these are the things and the baggage that has me, weighted me in certain areas of my life that I just transparently, I have to say that I have to be very intentional about reframing my thoughts about what if and receiving why not or why shouldn't I. And like I said, it is a combination of a catalyst of things that I've experienced in my lifetime from childhood to present.
Right. I love that. Why not? Why wouldn't I? And as a lot of people say, why me? Why not you? And a lot of times we want to shift the situation to that something else instead of really looking inside, instead of retrospecting and introspecting on the things that has happened. And so as you talk about the plethora and the many things, Gail, I don't know if you want to just give us one little thing that may be a part of it, because I'm sure each and every one of us have, like, oh God, I have a whole bunch of skeletons that fall out this closet. And it's not.
They're gonna come out tap dancing.
Yeah, maybe they will come out and maybe they'll be trying to chase me down. They try anyways, but you know what? Them skeletons, baby, they might as well get on, because they being buried, because I am in the space and place of why not me? Why wouldn't I?
That's nice.
Who else can do it besides me? So that's the space and place that I'm in. I'm starting to own who I am, because when I think about it, I was chosen for greatness. And so knowing this, that I'm chosen, that I am the one, that God has called me, that I am special, that I am anointed and appointed. Those past experience of wounds, they do fuel some stress, but I know where to place them and how to place them where they belong. So I'm not going to let them continue to bring the mess and the stress. I ain't going to say it don't come, because it do.
Yes.
It's been a hell of
it. Right.
So again, Gail, can you maybe give us one, and then we'll go to Tammy?
Um, Absolutely. Even just, I'll give you a simple example of in business. I ain't gonna get too personal, so I'll talk about business. You know, I've ventured and partnered with people in the past that did not render good fruit, and so when a time came where initially I felt like jumping right in, and I wanted to trust my gut with that thing, with that investment, but I went too far back in retrospect, like you talked about, and I focused too much on the past lesson I learned. I don't want to say mistake. It was the previous lesson that I learned. And although initially I was not afraid, I was not reluctant, but I spent too much time in retrospect, and I had myself in a holding pattern. And so I had to basically talk myself through and force myself to not be a victim of that situation. Because if I allowed myself to be a victim of that situation, I'd still be in that energy, miss that opportunity. So I did push forward. I invested in the opportunity, which overall was me investing in myself and in my business. And it catapulted me to a different level. And that one experience taught me how to trust myself and to let those old experiences be lessons, not something that's going to anchor me down in one place. So that is something that I try to intentionally do: learn the lesson and keep going to the next level.
Absolutely. We must learn the lesson. And that's many times people don't learn the lesson because they continue to mull over and think about and
Right.
continue to move forward on what didn't happen or why they shouldn't. And we do have to learn those lessons. And so it helps us to move forward and not hold on to all of those wounds, because if you understand who you are and whose you are and that you were chosen for greatness, if you understand that I woke up to be great, if you understand that I dominate my time,
Right.
my thoughts, and my actions, and I cannot allow this situation that had happened to keep me where I was. So we do have to recognize and think about these things. And so I love what you said. That was a great example, because I'm sure on here tonight we have lots of business women that have been through some things. And me, myself, and I'm in a whole life lesson right now that y'all know about, that I will soon be talking about because of some wrong business decisions. But God is always good, and I know that I'm have to go through this process. And again, I will say I was chosen for greatness, and because I was chosen for greatness, and I know that I wake up to win, I wake up to do what God has called me to do. I'm not gonna let this one thing that's had a chokehold on me for a minute
Mm-hmm.
hold me back, because we can't. We just cannot do that. And so, what is it to our audience that is making you feel like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in a chokehold and I don't know how to move past this thing. I'm currently stuck in it. Tonight, we're trying to help you to move past it, to get out of it. You're not alone. You're not by yourself. The devil wants you to be in a space and place that you are alone and that you can't move forward. And so you start with the negativity and the playing things over, and you're talking to the wrong people to tell you the wrong things. So now your mouth is wrong. Don't put your mouth on the wrong things. Continue to try to look for the good, even though it may be a bad situation at the time, because you will eat what you speak. And so we got to make sure that we are moving forward out of the situation. Tammy,
Right.
your turn.
Oh boy. Well, Renette, um, this just brings me to think about listening to learn and feeling to grow. Uh, we're placed in situations sometimes that are not of our own doing. And we are thrust into situations that we are forced to make decisions. And we have to ask ourselves sometimes, why are we doing what we're doing? Okay. When we ask ourselves, why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we in the midst of what we're in? It takes us back to looking at past experiences, and how they've affected us and how they've thrust us into positions that we are in now, and refocusing and making different decisions uh,
Mhm.
based on those experiences. And Gail kind of touched on a lot of what I wanted to say, and I was writing it down. And you have to ask yourself, why should I make a change? And how is what I'm dealing with affecting me, affecting my mental, my health, and so forth. So there have been a lot of situations that I've been in the recent past, and I just decided that I wasn't going to allow them to stress me out anymore. And so I decided to handle and deal with them a little differently, make lifestyle
Mhm.
changes as well. So yeah.
As well, and that I understand. We have to get to that space, and one of the things that you said is, um, I, oh Lord, how did I lose my train of thought? That's not like me.
That's
But
many,
anyway,
child.
many ain't muching on my memory, baby. I am not accepting.
Not claiming it.
I don't claim that because y'all know I ain't old, baby. I'm just seasoned. I'm seasoned.
Oh my
Fashion,
God.
all that stuff. But don't get me started. So, what did Tammy, you just said something I really wanted to touch on, but oh, I know. See, because
There
she
you
talked
go.
about mental, trying to get in my mental, but I ain't happening. I already told y'all I'm chosen for greatness and I'm anointed and appointed. So anyway,
Amen.
she talked about something that a lot of times when we get in situations, we go to doing what we normally do, stressing and all over the place, and taking it to the phone instead of the throne and this and that. And we all over everywhere and we don't check our mental. And I like that you said that, checking your mental, because we got to check in with ourselves first before we check in, before we start checking in with everybody else. See where you are.
Mhm.
Ask yourself, well, okay, what am I doing? How am I feeling? What is
Right.
going on? Because
Right.
when we start to check that, and that's one of the things that I'm very big on now, making sure that I'm checking me and I'm feeling, okay with the situation. Because when I don't, and I'm stressed and I'm pressed, somebody about to get cussed out. I ain't even gonna lie.
Mhm.
I can be the real, because I don't, and
Easy.
now I learned to take different steps and do something different. And so that's how we have to, go. You would think, and I mean, if I want to talk about Angel, I'm talking about Angel for a minute. And he always said, girl, you got to cuss him out. Get that stress off you. You're going to feel better. But as a professional, because we want to
Mhm.
be professional, we want to do what is the proper thing to do. And what I don't
Mhm.
want to live in and live with is going back with regrets. If I do
Right.
something
Right.
wrong, I'm very good and very quick to say I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm very quick
Good practice.
to forgive
Yes.
the
Mhm.
person. Just,
Right.
and I might forgive them, but that don't mean I'm about to keep fooling with them. I'm gonna forgive.
Mhm.
I'm gonna let it go quickly. But for my mental, as Tammy was talking about, I have to move past some things and past some people. Not because I just want to be mean and nasty. Not because um, I I I hate them, but I love me. And so if I don't
Right.
check in with my mental and respect where I am mentally, I'm not helping me, which in turns is a disservice to me and who I was called to be. So it's
Right.
very, very important to me to make sure that, like Tammy said, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I feel a lot of people don't check in with their mental. We look past that. And y'all have heard us say over and over and over, therapy, therapy, therapist. Like, yeah, I got one. And one of the things that I've learned through that process that has really helped me, I have friends and I love my friends and I trust my friends, but I don't want to pour on my friends all the time. I don't want to drain them, because I do have many. I'm gonna just be for real with y'all. And those that know me know already, baby. I live a TV story life. And so, with that being said, y'all might not understand that, but the people that know me know this ain't a life that I chose to live. It ain't even a life that I want to live at the moment, but it's getting there. And some of the things that have happened to me, i.e., the death of my grandson and back-to-back death, and him dying and donating his organs, that stuff you see on TV. You don't be thinking that's you, right? So, and I've had a lot of things in my life that happened that I would have never thought. I would have never thought,
Mhm.
if I could be real. And
Mhm.
so we gotta really delve into these things and make sure that we move past them. So with that being said, when did you first learn to handle everything, even when it hurts you, or are you not able to handle it when when it hurts you, and you kind of go into your
Well,
cave, into your own self?
just for me personally, the way I was raised, with a pastor grandfather and my father being a spiritual leader, I was taught meditation. I was taught how to handle situations. And that leads me up to being in my late 50s, is learning how to handle situations calmly, removing myself from situations, thinking it through and coming back and handling the situation properly. So it all has to do with, for me, my background. And
Mhm.
I'm very laid back. I don't get excited. It takes a lot to get me to a high level. I'd rather talk it out, think it out, pray it out, and meditate on it. And I will remove myself. And that's part of me doing that, is when you see me go outside and dig a hole. You always are in my garden, or in my yard.
Mhm.
So that releases for me. That gives me time to think and get away from the other. Okay. So this morning I had something on my mind. It bothered me. I just went outside, washed my truck, cleaned it up. By the time I finished, I came back. I was able to handle the situation. So I'll just remove myself and go do something. It's so important.
Yes,
You
I love.
know, Tammy, oh, excuse me, Nat. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I
Tammy,
love.
I wanted you to talk about something we talked about on Tuesday.
What's
I
that?
think it's very important because it's things that we either get too far distracted and away from it, or we've never even learned how to do this. You talked about when we were having a conversation about detoxing, and um, I want you to talk about that because that resonated with me and it inspired me to take more time to be cognizant of that as I sip my detox tea tonight. But I do want you to expound on that because I think that's something that we kind of put on the back burner. We don't think about
Okay.
that in
I
its entirety.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do that. So basically what I was saying was that we take so much time to buy detox teas, the pills. We take supplements to cleanse our intestines, to cleanse our belly, to work forth and towards losing weight. We don't take the time to detox our mental, our emotional, our psychological. Okay. And we do, and it's so important that we do that. And we find ourselves in situations where uh, some people don't even know how to detox. Okay.
Right.
They don't know how to step back and look at their selves and their situations. And so they maneuver daily, uh, and their movements and their daily activities affect their mental, their psychological, their emotional, and their physical. And did I say psychological?
You did.
Okay, so in essence, we have to take the time to sit down and look at ourselves and think about how we're maneuvering, where we're maneuvering, what circles we're maneuvering in. How can we detox the stresses that we have from the things in everyday life? And it can be done.
Mhm.
We can pray, we can meditate, we can conversate like we do. We have conversations behind the scenes, and that's why I'm speaking about this now, that help us. And so many people are bashful or shy and don't want to talk about the things going on with them, and they need to. they need to find a way to do it. And it's even healthier. People's hair are falling out, they're on pills, medications, all kind of stuff, because what? They don't take the time to figure out what's happening with them.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I love that.
You got to find out what's happening with you. You have to take time, like you said, to cleanse and do all of that stuff, and not just with these medications, but cleanse your mind, cleanse
Mine.
your soul. Because if you don't mentally and emotionally detox, then it becomes an issue that will come out later. And it usually comes out to the people that you love and you're around
That you
the
love,
most.
right?
And
Correct.
so you just put something out there. One of the ways that she chooses is to remove herself from situations, and many times that is the answer, because you got to remove yourself from the toxicity, from the foolishness, from the thing that you know is maybe holding you back. And I love that and everything that y'all said. And this is stuff that I am really just learning, because I am the type of person, like I said, when did you first learn how to handle everything, even when it hurts you? I feel like I learned as a child how to handle stuff, because I felt like I was a little confused, because I know they say that, vengeance is God's and not your own. And so as I dealt with things that bothered me, that hurt me, I went and I handled them my own self. Okay. Before I did anything, I handled it. I confronted the situation before I ever thought about, because that's hot headed, that's young. And it took me to be a little older to go through some things and get in a better space and place, to be quiet, to meditate. As Tammy said, I didn't grow up with meditation. I didn't learn that until later. I grew up Catholic. We went to church and we followed the what you call it, the mass.
Right. Right.
And so growing up that way, growing up differently, not really having anyone that I could talk to, that I could share things with, I made my own decisions and did things my own way. And it was not always the right way. It was not always the good way. And as I learned and I got around different people, as I decided, we grow up looking, we move as a child and we start to grow up looking like our parents. As we continue to grow, we start to look like our decisions. And so now
Hmm.
I'm in a place and space to look like my decisions. Now I do look a lot like my daddy, I will say. I'm not talking about in looks, I'm talking about my behaviors. But my decisions, um, I've just learned to make better decisions. I've learned that I have to make a decision, because a lot of times I was either hot headed or I was real cold and I did nothing. I didn't make decisions at all. And so now that I'm in a space where I'm in a better place and I can think about stuff, and I know about meditation, I know how to pray different. I know how to really go to God. And growing, and I have nothing. I mean, I grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic school, so, Catholic people stay in Psalms, and that's where I was. And so my prayers were very different, even as an adult, because, like I said, I grew up Catholic. So I prayed different, I moved different, and I've learned so much more. And that's why you should get around people that are doing different things, to experience different things. Because if you think about it, we just was around the same people from childhood, from when we were growing up. What would you be now? And so getting
Hmm.
around different people, learning different experiences, it has helped me to become a different, and I would say a better person. It helped me learn to really respect my own thoughts, my own, because I just used to kind of um, want to do stuff. But as you know, growing up in a culture like we did, and most of us, children should be seen and not heard. We should
Hmm.
get in where we fit in. And so at that point, I didn't really, like I said, I go handle stuff and I cause myself more hurt on top of hurting people. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that I'm doing something different and I'm in a
Well,
different
Renette,
place.
uh, Renette, I applaud you. Your ambitions are powerful and positive, and the fact that you have taken what you have learned in the past and you've turned it into something that is teachable and can be taught to other women. Okay. I applaud you because it's not easy to do what we do. And that's why I always
Mhm.
talk about and speak about the fight up and making things happen beautifully. And I want to go back to something that Sonia said. Sonia was saying removing yourself doesn't mean always mean quitting. When you remove yourself from situations, the key is, do you go back into the same situation with the same people and with the same serving attitudes? Okay. Um, can you remove yourself? And if not, what are you doing to make the effort to get yourself out of those situations? Because yes, sometimes we can walk away, but we haven't done the proper mental thoughts about the situation, and we walk back into them, we're back into the same exact thing. So we have to learn how to walk away and come back with a different mindset, which is what you did, which is what I do, and which is what Gail does, and what Toya does. We talk about these things, and these things are important. So yes, it's important to walk away, but you have to come back with a different mindset.
That's true. Because if you're coming back with the same mindset, you're gonna just keep doing the same things over and over and over. You gotta change something. It may be the circle, it may be you, it may be you going to learn something or some research or whatever. It may be you've gone to therapy that helps you. You might go to your pastor, but I encourage whatever it is you need to get it. And many times people, this is the problem with people, and I did
Right.
it for so long. You talking to people with the same issue. Why are you talking to people? And a lot of people think that, I need to talk to
Yes.
them. They've been through it. They going through it, but they haven't gone past it. And so how can they
Mhm.
really help you
There you
if you
go.
continue to talk to somebody? If you and your best friend, y'all both got husbands that ain't doing that, they ain't going nowhere, they laying on the sofa, they ain't working nowhere, and every day you complaining, he won't even take out the trash. I come home, his trash still out. I'm sick of him. I'm leaving. And then you and your girlfriend, y'all can, she be like, girl, I know what you mean, because such and such did this today. And he get on my god doggone nerve. How can y'all help each other? Y'all can't. Y'all can't. Because y'all got the same things going on. So
Sitting
all
in
y'all
the same
doing
pot with the
is
same
right.
season.
Y'all just having pity parties and complaint sessions.
Yeah.
Who husband the worst? Who got this going on? And you ain't growing from that, but you continue to talk, and then you got the nerve to be talking about other people when you shouldn't be talking about nothing and putting your mouth on nothing. You should be trying to fix your situation. And so that's what happens with a lot of people, why they don't move forward, because they stay in the same. So I'm about to tell them my
Stagnant.
business. I'm about to talk to no therapist. That don't even make no sense. What am I pay them for? Because you got a friend that you can talk to that can't help you, that ain't doing nothing for you. And that's why you in the same place you was 5-10 years ago, and you still in that same situation now because you haven't looked to do better.
Right.
And so this is why we're having these conversations and why you have to look at some things and really make a difference. When I say I'm anointed and appointed and I'm chosen, I did the work to get where I am, but I was appointed and anointed and chosen for greatness before all of this happened. I just didn't know it. But because I found different circles and different places and spaces and people to get around that could help me to get to my next level, that could help me to understand who I was and who I knew whose I was. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my true identity because I didn't come up like most people. I don't want to, and I'm trying my hardest because I'm not gonna do this, get emotional. But when you have this fight, like Tammy said, the fight up, and I've been fighting up since I've been in the womb, from what I hear. And so, with that being said, it's hard to move forward. But I made a choice, and I had to make a choice. I
Right.
prayed. I did stuff that wasn't traditional. I stepped away from things that I had been stuck and stagnant in and made a choice to do something different. That got
Right.
talked about. I got judged. Whatever. And it's okay because people talked about Jesus and I realized that they were going to talk about me. I used to care, But once I learned the real identity of who I was instead of living in a lie identity and who I wasn't, I got to a point where it didn't matter what people said.
Mm-hmm.
And if you grew up in a certain way and you know you need and want something different, you have to
Right.
make up your mind to do something different. So,
Right. Right. That's
with
true.
that, yeah, with that being said, Gail, did you want to say anything else? Because I'm going to go to the next question.
I did want to mention about, learning from the pain. We go through painful moments, and I had to, and it took a while. Like Renette said, we paid a hefty price to be where we are right now to successfully grow through what we went through. And I always tell people, learn how to grow through what you're going through, because the too often we see and identify the lesson from the pain after the fact in hindsight. So when I'm in that painful season, when I'm being planted in the dark and originally didn't know it, I had to grow. God had to put me in the dark. God had to separate me. I had to learn how to identify the lesson in real time instead of after the fact. So removing myself in we want to be the victim sometimes. Why did this happen to me? I did this. This shouldn't happen to me. So when I remove myself and I compartmentalize what's really happening and I take myself out of it, I pull God into it, because that's what's going to nurture where I am. I had to pull. We always think God playing double dutch, like he just sitting there waiting to jump in soon as a challenge arises.
That's
And we
good.
Wow.
and we giving all this credit and power to the enemy and to the devil, when we don't realize God is lining up every step, and even the most uncomfortable things he has orchestrated to charge you to grow.
There
When
you
we
go.
get to that place where
Yes.
we will reach up and pull him in where we are. I had to grow where I was planted. And a lot of times it's dark in there when we're planted. It feels lonely when he's refining you. But I learned how to grow from the pain and find the power in the pain so I could be in my purpose in real time and not after the fact. And you
Wow.
have to push through that. You have to push, because it's power in every moment of your life. We have to see it. So when I got my mind out of the fact that I was in the dark, I had to realize I'm in the dark. I'm covered and protected. He is shielding me while he's growing my roots to make me strong enough to bloom so I could break through the soil, so I could be that flower that rise and bust through that concrete. That is how I learned my lessons, to learn in the pain in real time.
That is
Yeah,
so
you know
powerful.
what?
Lord,
Let
that's
me let me say this too, to add to what you're saying, is that a lot of us just want to snap our fingers and everything change right away. We have got to
Right.
have patience in this situation. We have
Absolutely.
got to have patience, and we've got to pay attention, and we've got to listen to our higher power, to God. And that's what makes the difference.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I love it. And Gail, to add to what you said about, really you in that dark. And a lot of times when you're in the dark, we do pity parties. We don't do the work,
Mm-hmm.
like you said. And so
Wow.
not dealing with, it's sort of my identity, but it's my identity. It's my all about me and my what
Mm-hmm.
I got going on. So now you're in a my identity crisis where you are all about me. And sometimes there are
Mm-hmm.
times in life where you do need to be about you, but sometimes that's all people are about. Me, 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 me. You go to God, me, my, and all about
Mm-hmm.
what it is you need to do and what you not need to do, what you want to do, all about where you're going and not about where God is going to take you. And that's kind of, where you were, Gail, to really look at and realize and identify so that you could bust through that concrete and come up
Mm-hmm.
like you needed to in the correct way. So sometimes we got to get out of that my identity space and move into what it is you were really called to do. because we all have things and it's all about us, and we never ask God, well, what do you really want? And so as you start to get in that space to think about, okay, what is God trying to tell me? Where is he trying to take me? And then you wonder why you can't get anywhere, because you all my identity.
Yeah.
And really your my identity is again a lie identity, because you're not really facing the fact of who you are and whose you are. And until you get that space in place, it just ain't gonna happen.
And we scared to ask that question. We scared to ask God, what do you want for me? Because we are so
we don't
afraid
want
that
the
it
answer.
is. We don't want the answer because we
Right.
know it's not going to line up well, because we co-sign our own BS. We
Yes.
co-sign our stuff. We'll make ourselves qualified and qualified for some stuff that he
Certified,
did
and
not call
modified
us.
in the lives.
Exactly. For some stuff he didn't even call us to do. So we are too afraid. I have been, and still sometimes I'm scared to ask. And I say, Lord, you know I'm scared to ask, but I cannot be afraid in this moment. What is it that you will have me do? Who are you going to have me serve? Because we cannot lose sight on the fact that we are here to be of service. We are here to take whatever lessons that we
His
are
work.
learning
Yes. There you go.
to give it to other people who are traveling around in dark places and spaces, who are fighting unspoken battles. There's so much poured inside of us that we don't give ourselves credit for. We have so much power that is made to equip people with their breakthrough. But we're so busy being pitiful. We're so busy being self-righteous. We're so busy being fake and phony
Preach.
that we can't even help
Preach.
people who are waiting for us to get their breakthrough, because we too busy talk about we ain't got ours yet. It's not about us. We are here to be of service. And when we take ourselves out of it and pull God in, and he will show us. If you do not have a clue what your power is and what you should be doing, you got to get you a coach. You need to get you a mentor. Therapy will not hurt you, baby. Put yourself where you can heal. So when you start sharing with people, you're sharing light and not darkness and pitifulness and trauma bonding with people. Because don't make that mistake to think that you bonded with somebody and you having an impact on their life, and all you doing is trauma bonding with them because you're talking
That's
about the
what I just
same
talked
pain
about, Gail.
and moving around in that same circle because y'all familiar with the pain and you are scared and you don't want to be responsible to grow because you've become real familiar with that pain. And for you to heal, it requires for you to do your part. Do you know what your part is?
Go ahead, Pastor Gail. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Trauma bonding.
Go
That's
ahead.
exactly what I just talked about. Trauma bonding. And
Trauma bonding.
do you know what your part is? Like Gail said, I have learned to remove myself and okay with it. It's been hard, but it's been necessary. Yes, Queen. Definitely necessary. Trauma bonding is a vicious cycle. And that's what I just said. You're sitting up, you keep talking to that same girlfriend. You keep, even if you at a job, we do a lot of trauma bonding, going off on the boss and this and that, instead of going to the boss yourself directly. You're trying to gather up a little group together. Baby, be your own person. There's no getting where you feel. When I got a problem, I'm gonna let them know. They may not like me, but I'm not there to be like them. There to do a job, and I want to do my job right if I'm there.
Yeah.
So we that trauma bonding, that need to be a whole. That's a whole episode, and we're gonna have to talk about that. So let me go, because we're gonna end up with a part 3 if I can't get through these questions. And this question is one that I truly want to skip, but I'm not.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
This says, and I want y'all in the audience to think about this as well. Y'all know we got to glow up tonight, and we need to glow up, and I need y'all to show up to the glow up. If y'all will go to the spicy page, we need to put it in there so we can talk about this a little further. So it says, who do you need to forgive and free yourself from the emotional residue?
Oh, that is so easy.
For you.
For me. No matter what the action, no matter what the words, no matter what it was they did, we are to forgive. We don't forget, of course, we remember, but we are to forgive. And forgiveness means just you have to forgive. You just don't say the words to make yourself believe you did. You just
Mm-hmm.
forgive people genuinely for what they've the act against you, and you fill in a blank where it comes to the act, and you move on and you free yourself from it. If you're saying you forgave, but you're still speaking about it, angry about it, get upset about it, which is possible sometimes, when you're trying to move on from it. But true forgiveness means you move on from it.
Yeah, and that's easier said than done.
Easier said than done.
And
Yes.
so I want y'all in the audience to think about who it is you need to forgive, because you're not going to really be able to do what you need to do or move forward
Right.
if you are unable to forgive. And I know I've had to forgive a lot of things, a lot of people, um, and I'm still in the process. And one thing I can do now, I've learned to forgive. That used to be really, really hard for me. But and I know people say all the time, "Oh, forgiveness is for you," and it is for you. But that's still easier said than done. We said two.
Two stuck fools. Queen.
That just breaking up the monotony, baby. 'Cause baby, you went all in, Queen, just now. Okay, two-step fools. All right, two-step fools. Wow. And sometimes, and when we don't know, we do foolish things, right? And so that was,
Right.
but I want, as we're talking about this, we bring stuff to you all so that you all could think about stuff that maybe you've been skipping over, maybe you've been dealing with it for a long time, maybe you haven't been able to face it, but we want to talk about those things that people don't want to talk about. Yeah, we spicy. Yeah, we're gonna bring it to you real raw and relevant so that you can move forward. Because when you have something that is really stressing you and holding you back, and you dealing with it, and you not, no. Let me make this clear. And you're not dealing with it. Let's say that you're not dealing with it. You're not gonna move. You might move, but you ain't moving to where you really need to be. You're not moving to that next
Mm-hmm.
space and place that God has called you to. And so we got to get to that space to move forward and be able to do those things. So we do need to get to the place and space where we forgive.
Well,
And go ahead.
Renee, I want to talk about the degree of the offense,
Mm-hmm.
because some people are mad at people about minute things.
True.
Some people are in situations and positions where they should be upset and angry, and they have to fight to forgive. Okay, I spoke earlier when we first started this podcast. I gave away a incident that happened to me. It's the most uh uh painful thing that ever happened to me, and for anybody to have it done to them, uh 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 it would be, but I had to forgive the person for the action, and it could have taken my life. So the degree of the offense does matter, because if you around here bad, you're mad at somebody because they still holding on to one of your pots and pans, then you have a problem. But if you're upset with
Right.
somebody about a more serious offense, and let me tell you, it took a lot of work for me to forgive and let it go. It took a lot of work. It took effort. It takes effort and patience to do so. And that, I'll just leave it at that. So the degree of the offense matters. So some people around here mad about BS.
Mm-hmm.
There are serious offenses that are done to people and done towards people that they really have a rightful, they need to be upset about, they should be upset about. But
Mm-hmm.
it's the holding on to it that makes the difference. And it's the
Absolutely.
how do we move on from it? And like Renette said, it's easier said than done.
That's so true. And I love the fact that you brought that up, because that's a situation that can help release somebody tonight. Because, like you said, it's the offense that is really a lot of times the problem of why people struggle to forgive. But then there are people with petty bull crap that they should be able to move forward, because like she said about some pots and pans, about little simple stuff. And you don't know, people here today gone tomorrow, because you didn't bother to forgive or whatever. Now
Right.
you looking all crazy and crying and then lost your
Right.
mind. Forgive today.
Forgive
Let it
today.
go.
Let it
Move
go.
forward. And we're
That's
going
true.
to really be diving into some deep things when we get on the glow up, because it's so important that we do get to a space and place to move past. And some people have been through some things. I know the four of us actually have been through some serious stuff. We'll get more into that on the glow up. And when you've been through these types of things, it does make it hard to forgive, but it is for you. And
Yes.
forgiving don't mean you got to get back with them. So that's okay. So with that being
Right.
said, as we are 9:21, I want to make this our last. I feel like we just cannot get through this like we need to, because it's so serious. But my next question is, what does emotional safety look like for you, and do you have it in your current environment? What does emotional safety look like, and do you have it in your current environment?
I do, and I control now who and what is in my environment. If you can't bring the positive energy, positive mindset, positive uh, situations where we sit and we grow together, and you can just continue to stack that how you want. I control it. If you're bringing something that is not good and is negative, uh, number one, you can hit the door. Number two, you're gonna see my back. I'm up in age now, and I'm not old, but I don't have time for it. And the people around me are gonna have to have good energy, be positive, and be willing to move and motivate and grow. I can't do the old stuff anymore. It was old. It took its toll on me, and I just can't do it anymore.
I get it. I get it. So, one of the things that I made up my mind in a couple of, I would say a couple of years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years, definitely 3 years ago, I made up my mind, because you know how people, it's Christmas, it's Thanksgiving, it's Easter, and you got to go to this family gathering that you don't want to go to. You got to go to the family reunion, and you don't want to go. Oh Lord, we got to go here. You're cussing, you're fussing, don't want to be. I've learned, if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to not another family dinner, gathering, birthday party, reunion, and
Yes.
complain about it,
Yes.
because I don't want to be around the energy. You know, energy is never destroyed, it is transferred. So I go to something and I'm feeling worse when I come from it than when I went into it. I already know I didn't. Why am I going to be this big, grown, spicy age and go into something that I know that I don't want to be bothered with? Now, some things you have to do. Like, some things that I just, you have to do. You need to go to the gynecologist. You need to do something. That I hate. It's disgusting to me. But that's something you need to do. That's something for your health. You going
Right.
to the family reunion and you don't like half of the family members there, that's for your health too.
That's
So
true.
why are you going there? What we not
Right.
gonna do at this big
Right.
spicy age, bubbles,
Right.
is go and deal with people, go to deal with people, places, and things that we don't
Yes.
have to be bothered with. That we
True.
doing it because somebody said, "Come on, it's your sister, it's your kid, it's your I don't care, dog, cat, cousin, sister, brother, mama, daddy. I don't care. I can't do it no more." I'm at a space and place. And so for my emotional safety, I don't want to be on no job that I don't like. I ain't trying to be at no event or family gathering or whatever I don't like.
Right.
I just can't do it anymore. And I pray and I ask God, and God has given me peace. For so many years, I went and did things that I knew I didn't want to do. And it's space and place. I'm not doing it. If it's gonna mess with me mentally and cause me a problem, not about to do it. Not
Yeah.
trying to do it because it's just not the thing that is going to serve you. And so if it's gonna bother you emotionally and cause that safety net to like just drop you, why are you there?
Right.
So you've got to make a decision in your current environment that I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to deal with this at all. And we pick up the bad energy. You pick up the phone and you know you don't want to talk to that person. You know that it's time out for them. But instead of, if you want to save a relationship, have the conversation. And sometimes, after the conversation, y'all move forward or whatever. If they bring in just toxic energy, they gotta go.
Well, you know what? It's so important that we all understand what being your sister's keeper means. That's so important. The misrepresentation of being your sister's keeper is just people just really don't understand the meaning. I think that I do, and I'm going to be my sister's keeper, which means I'm going to deal with my sisters in a godly manner. I'm going to be there. I'm going to offer. I'm going to help. Some people have it wrong. If your mindset is not correct, you're leading wrong. And so understanding that helps us to help others, which is why we're doing what we're doing every Thursday night at 8:30. So learn how to be your sister's keeper the proper way, not the negative way. Bring proper energy, bring positive affirmations. It's just so important. Truly be your sister's keeper. And that means the protection of your sister, helping your sister grow. I watched Latoya and Gail 2 nights ago doing exactly what I'm speaking about, being your sister's keeper. As I stood behind them washing dishes, they were sitting here on the couch, and I watched how Gail asked Latoya questions and how Latoya was able to just hand her the information, and they giggled and they laughed about it. Gail left here. Gail had what she needed. It's just taking the time to do things the right way for each other, and it needs to be learned. It needs to be taught. And a lot of women out here are stuck and stagnant. And I'm gonna shut my mouth now because I could go on about it forever. But we need to learn to be our sisters' keepers.
Absolutely. And so as we end this, I want y'all to put a 1 in the comments if you have truly gotten something from this, you enjoyed it, it was something that you felt was necessary, and then give us some feedback, 1 word of what you felt about tonight's episode, because we want to bring about timely topics. We want to bring about taboo topics, spicy topics, because if we keep holding it in and we never ever let it out, then how do you grow? How do you move forward? We come on here and we talk a lot. We've given stories, not every story in our life, but we've given pretty much whatever we felt was something that came upon our heart or our mind. I feel like for the most part, I know that all of us pretty much have been an open book and given things that a lot of people may feel like, oh, I can't talk about this or that or whatever. God placed us here to do something, and our goal is to make sure we do it. And so we definitely want to be that open book to help another person be able to come and say, you know what? I feel like I can do this. I'm a better person because I heard, and now I feel like I can do it. And if we all, like Tammy just talked about, sisters keeper, if we all reach one and teach one and help another, how much better would the world be? Because right now we have so many people who say we can't get along, we can't do this, we can't do this as Black women, we can't do this as women, but we can. We can do anything and everything we want to be. So it's just doing it. And so we're so excited to do it and to come forward and to make life different for women, to let them be able to walk in their bold, spicy season. Baby, we seasoned, and
Right.
we walking in it boldly and what unapologetically. Don't care what nobody got to say.
Amen.
Think that
Amen.
At all.
their issues ain't got nothing to do with us. Their problems, nothing to do with us. We gonna allow them to keep them while we move forward together to live the spicy life, to live a legacy, to leave a legacy and to do great things. That's what we walking into.
Amen.
Our spicy seasons,
Yes.
as sisters and as a squad. So we appreciate everybody that comes on here. We want to put this word out. We ask that y'all participate, that y'all love, like, and invite. And I charge everyone to next week. Make sure you invite 2 to 3 people to bring them on here, because people missing this and they don't even understand what they missing. This may be the one thing to change everything. You show up, you bring somebody else, you might be changing their life. We thank y'all for being a part of this. We ask y'all to come on up on the glow up so we can show up and glow up, and then continue to carry this conversation on. Share it out, and we will see y'all on the other side at the glow up. Y'all take care. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. If you are watching this for the first time, give us some comments, and we'd love to meet you. Get in our spicy inbox, and we'll answer you. And thank y'all for joining us. We love y'all. See y'all later.
Good night.
Have a good night.